Guys, I'm here. I'm here. It's 1 o'clock. Welcome to True Trading Group. And, this is the first time I think that we've ever done something past noon, an hour before lunch, new segment that we're rolling out. Wanted to just say hello to everybody on the YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, um, passenger pigeon, whatever it is, however you're seeing this right now. Uh, Welcome to the Midday Outlook with me, your host, Jason Wolf Weed Street, Spatafora. Let me say that as this is a brand new segment, and I really want to get that algorithm going, please smash that like button, subscribe, and subscribe to the channel if you can. All right, there you go. So with that being said, again, guys, this is a brand new segment that we're launching, a new segment that will be Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. This will not take place. This will not happen in place of Mike's live stream. Mike has the night. I have the day. Wolves, we're not very active at night. We like to sleep. Or maybe it's reverse, whatever it is. So the evenings will be in addition to this, which is great. So you're basically getting a double dose. You got Mike in the evening and me in the morning. So morning Hal, and then you got Pizza Mike for dinner. All right, which is perfect because you can eat pizza with him. So again, guys, welcome to the True Trading Group live stream. I'm your host for this next hour, Jason Wolf of Weed Street, Spatafora. Again, smash the like. And, look, one of the reasons that we wanted to do this stream, give everybody kind of something different. Everybody, is watching at different times of the day. Also just kind of actionable information going on. And the reality is that information during the course of the day is great. It's also great in the evening, but this would have been very helpful for me if I was a new trader. When I started out investing and trading, I was literally just like all of you. Actually, I was much worse than all of you. So anybody that's watching this, I would say, is 10 times better than I was because I was just kind of flying at it alone. So, this is a rare chance, a rare opportunity for us to kind of share ideas, ask questions throughout the course of the day. And that's really how we're going to start it. All right. So without further ado, we're going to take some Q&A from some of these people. I got Shug in the back office going to send me some questions. All right. So ask your questions, get some answers. I will be as straight with you as humanly possible. And then we're going to get into the topics of the day. All right. All right. Here it comes. First question, about to get posted on the screen. But guys, seriously, ask questions. This is the time. What's for lunch? A bottle of water. Guys, I don't know about you, but I can afford to miss some lunches. This pandemic's got me a little overweight. So, am I going to give an options class during Traderpalooza? It's definitely something that I'm going to cover during Traderpalooza. That's a good question. We are having Traderpalooza on May 22nd, I believe, which is going to just be probably it's 12 hours of education from all the moderators covering a multitude of topics. This is only for True Trading Group members. So yeah, you've got to be a member. It's really worth the price of admission. Why are you buying X for October? Okay, so so that question is directed towards U.S. Steel. Okay, why am I buying October U.S. Steel calls? All right, one, because I want to be in a position where I can accumulate a position, which I have. And I also want to be able to deal with any kind of downtrend, in the stock or a pullback in the stock. If I have something from May, let's say I have May 21st calls, okay, and then there's a big pullback on U.S. Steel, 20%, which it is entirely possible. If I'm in those options are going to get destroyed. All right. And it might not get back to the strike. So at least with longer strikes that are about 6 months out, the longer expiration, I have time to build a position. I have time to take profit. I have a lot of different options. And if, let's say, U.S. Steel just keeps running, I'm in no rush to sell because I'm above the strike and I've got a long way to go. So that's a good question, though. Thoughts on safe banking outlook? Okay. Thoughts on safe banking outlook? Look, I think safe banking is a matter of when, not if. But if you ask me, I think it's, now from it's a little bit of nuance, I would like to see some safe banking happen later in the summer, just so it's coming in at the time when volume is really coming back to the cannabis space. I think that if it happened now, yeah, it'd be great. We get a little bit of a pop, but I think it would be, faded, possibly. But it is something that I think is going to happen. It's important. It does add value to each of the U.S. MSOs in terms of their banking needs and the interest rates that they can get. GW Pharma, Green Thumb, GTBIF, just got the lowest rate from any bank on some debt at, I believe, about 7%. Last time they went out and did a raise like this, it was at like 14%. So things are progressing. Safe banking is just going to speed up that process. Is this a good time to start buying pot stocks for the long term? I definitely think that, whether you're buying them now, whether you bought them in November, really any time of the year, you've got to go into the position slowly. Okay. If let's say, somebody gave me $1,000 and they're like, hey, buy some pot stocks. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to spend $500. All right. And then I'm going to wait. All right. I'm going to tier into my position. Always think that, always try and get a cheaper price. But, if you're talking about the tier one pot stocks like Curaleaf, Green Thumb, Trulieve, Cresco, TerraSend, I think it's a safe bet to start building a position because we could see every week, just based off of data, like actual data in their sales, that everything is improving. And the total addressable market for the United States is expanding. Until that starts to consolidate, I think it's a safe bet. And, there's a lot more upside in the United States, but you have to really expand your time horizon. If you're looking at this as like, oh, I'm going to be in this a week, then, maybe wait. Right? And that's definitely going to be something that we cover. So yeah, I think it is a good time, but not every pot stock is equal. Do I think pot stocks are past the Ides of March weakness? Also going to be covered here today. Look, I look at it like this. Ides of March is not something that Ides of March has a starting point in March, okay? It's not a specific date. I'm not Jesus or Miss Cleo where I can pick a specific date. It's a matter of volume leaving, and then when it returns, and then everything kind of in between. I expect there's still to be some choppiness in the market. And that's fine. A lot of these pot stocks are giving you great range in the course of a day or two. And if you're, holding a core and trading a core, it could be very beneficial to your portfolio. but I'm not so quick to say, hey, this is over. It's just going to be a 45-degree angle up, until next March. I want to build a long-term portfolio in pot stocks. How would you balance and what ratio would you give what companies? Ooh, look, a good way to get ideas on how to balance a pot stock portfolio could be looking at some of the ETFs. I would look at MSOS. All right, I would look at that ETF. You can see where their allocations really are, and the top three or the top four, I should say, are Curaleaf, Green Thumb, Cresco Labs, and TrueLeaf. So that's CURLF, GTBIF, CRLBF, and TCNNF. I think that you definitely want to, look at this from like a 5-year time horizon, like which companies can max out. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the most alpha from them. I just think that those are probably the safest bets. You could have a tier 2 or tier 3 company that just gets acquired or whatever, and doubles, right? Which is that alpha people are looking for. But at the same time, I'm not going to go and take a gigantic position in one of those companies because it's kind of a crapshoot. So your allocations should be based off of your risk tolerance. And look, sometimes you don't have to be in all of them. You could just really pick 2 horses and then have smaller positions in some of the others. Why not just buy the MSOS ETF? Also a good question. There's a lot of things in the MSOS ETF that I just have no desire to buy. I think that, yes, it's a good idea to have a position. I have a small position in the MSOS ETF, but that's really just to have that basket of tier 2 and tier 3 companies. In terms of managing my portfolio, I look at it as I'd rather be in the driver's seat and pick, let's say, those 5 companies, for the duration of that trade versus have 20 something companies. Really, that's why. What I do like about the MSOS ETF is the options. So like my position in the options is actually bigger than my position in the stock, and my options are much further out. Either November or January. Who do you see as the major players in the shroom stocks? I would definitely say Compass Pathways, which is CMPS, Atai Life Sciences, which is not public yet, and then you could argue MindMed, but I think MindMed is a little overpriced, but that won't really stop the market from buying it. And then there's some others. One of which I'm not going to name because I've got a position in it. But look, there's a couple of good companies. Look, you want to focus on companies that aren't trying to sell magic mushrooms in like a dispensary. You want to focus on companies that are looking for specific molecules and delivery methods for psilocybin to treat very specific needs, whether it's PTSD, anxiety, or alcoholism. If all pot stocks are not created equal, then how would you profile cannabis companies generally? Well, let's take a look at something like Canopy and Curaleaf, for example. Canopy trades on the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange. I forget which exchange. It really doesn't matter. It's on a big board. It is the biggest company by market cap. It's not the biggest company by revenue. Curaleaf did $80 million more than Canopy did in revenue, and with a positive margin, Canopy lost. Yet Canopy trades at a 40% higher market cap and a multiple that's 3x that of Curaleaf. Okay, so you've got, if you're looking at it in terms of just the United States, then you have to see what companies were early enough to get into some of these markets that are going to be just explosive, like New York, New Jersey, Illinois, Florida. Some of these companies are a lot smaller, and they're not going to have the capital to expand or get the market share that some of these bigger companies are going to get, because the bigger companies were fiscally responsible early and just executed perfectly. So that's one way to see that a lot of these companies just are not created equal. Still holding MSOS $55 strike for June. Yes, I am actually. So what I've done there, I look, honestly, I've already told everybody in TTG that if MSOS hits that strike of 55 by June 18th, which is when they expire, that when we go to Vegas, I'll hire the Dan Band with the proceeds of that trade. I don't have a lot of hope in it. Hope is not a trading strategy. I say it all the time. So what I've done is I've taken advantage of the pullback that we had, right around, well, pretty much all of March and half of April, and rolled it in, a significant amount of capital into far out MSOS call options. So, I'm looking for those calls to subsidize the June 55 calls. Four. Any other brain busters? Why? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys. All right. So before we go any further, I want you to know right now that this is my first TTG live stream. Or if this is your first TTG live stream and you're not a member of TTG, please type in the number 1. All right. Type the number 1 if this is your first TTG live stream. Okay. All right. VM, Genedy, the Bob Square, Danny Aruba, Maverick, great name. Wanted to name my son Maverick. My wife didn't go for it. Voin, Dennis, Wolfpack Beard, Mark Coakley, Peter Whip, cult follower of Wolf. All right. So, okay. All right. So if this is your first time, guys, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. So here we go. All right. Okay, so we're going to kind of get into some of the nuance of this stream. I just really like the word nuance. All right. Okay. So for all of you that are new, you're about to get a crash course in what it means to be, part of TTG. No fluff, no BS. Stick around, you're going to learn something. First, I'm going to go into what TTG3 is for all of you. All right. So I'm going to go back into TTG chat right now. All right. Sorry. Excuse me. All right. Listen, guys. I'm going off of a script. So before we get into the next part of what we're going to discuss, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about TTG3, despite what the producer is going to want. So we're going to get into that a little. We're going to get into it a little bit more in depth, but for today's purpose, one of the things that we offer in True Trading Group is this thing called TTG3. It's basically it gives you the ability to come on in and try us out for a week for $3. All right. I know that Adam is probably a little pissed that I'm deviating from the script, but but we've got to do it sometimes. So guys, you got to look at it like this. A lot of you are just completely flying blind in the market, right? And there are a lot of services out there. There's a ton of bullshit. A lot of times you've got to kiss a lot of frogs. Now, we don't want you to kiss a frog, and we want you to kind of see the value in what we're doing. So we've basically created this thing called TTG3. Costs you $3. It's a non-reoccurring payment. You basically get to come in, sample us for 7 days, and on top of that, we give you a bunch of courses, 3 courses to just kind of get you started. But the main point is you get to come in and hang out and listen to the moderators, ask the moderators questions during the day, during the trading day and even before the trading day. There's a bunch of different moderators that cover a bunch of different topics. It's really, really valuable. Okay. For $3, I can promise you that in a 7-day period, you are going to get really actionable ideas or stop yourself from doing something stupid that you otherwise would have done. All right. So, that's why we've got TTG3 and why we've created it. Okay. So with that, we're going to get into part 2. Okay. All right. So I think we're going to talk about, what do you guys think? Pot stocks? More pot stocks? Guys, hit number 1 if you want pot stocks. You want to get to that outlook, because I'd love to. I'd love to do it. All right. Okay. Oh, wow. There's a lot of people. Perfect. Perfect. Guys, it's just what I want to see. Put me into my groove. I wish one of the things that I failed to do before doing the stream is put my overhead fan on. Huge drama. Not going to get into it. So, okay, guys, here's what we got. All right, we've got a giant week of pot stocks ahead of us. All right. We're going to witness, you are going to witness a complete dichotomy. All right. If you don't know what the word dichotomy is, Google it. All right. Think of this. We're going to see the difference. Okay. We're going to see fundamental differences in the US market and the Canadian market. Now, I love Canada. I love them. I love maple syrup. I like hockey. I think that they're some of the nicest people in the world. But I like US pot stocks more. Okay. I like bigger TAM. What is TAM? TAM. Not Tang, TAM. TAM is total addressable market. And if we're just looking at it from purely a total addressable market standpoint, we're talking about 10 to 1. Okay. But there's some other things. So first, whether you know it or not, Kronos just had earnings. What did everybody think of Kronos's earnings? Did you think they were good? Okay, so if you don't know who Kronos is a Canadian LP that did a deal with Altria, symbol MO. Okay, Kronos's symbol is CRON. Kronos right now is sitting on over $1 billion of Altria's cash, and the guy that put that deal together, I'm not even sure if he's still with Altria. Okay, so basically, Kronos in the last 12 months has burned 25 million a quarter, done 12 million in total revenue in Q1, a decline of 26%. Guys, if Kronos just put that $1 billion into something with an interest rate of 2%, they would have done better. Okay? It is probably one of the worst deals that has ever happened in pot stocks. And there was such high hopes. I mean, I'm thankful for that deal, just as I'm thankful for the Constellation deal, because it put a huge spotlight on the industry and gave us huge alpha in a bunch of things that had no business getting alpha. You know, they got alpha when they should have gotten Alpo. You guys remember Alpo? It was dog food. I don't know. Is there still Alpo around? So with that said, we got a huge week, okay? Huge week, huge, big hands. All right, so on Monday, we got Village Farms, which is an LP, but the one that really matters is Curaleaf on Monday. Curaleaf earnings, going to be blockbuster numbers. I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands. I'm just so excited. All right. We recently had Boris Jordan, executive chairman of Curaleaf, on here. Very excited to see the kind of numbers that they put up. All right. But on top of that, you've got a bunch of dogs going right after it. You've got MedMen, dog, Sundial, dog, and then you got Acreage, dog, I'll just say it. Green Thumb on the 12th. Huge. Grow Generation on the 12th. Huge. Trulieve on the 13th. Hydro Farms on the 13th. And then Aurora Cannabis on the 13th. I think for Aurora on May 13th, basically they're just going to interview a can of soup. Okay, or the can of soup that is going to be in the middle of their Aurora Sky facility that is basically shut down. All right. So what am I expecting? What am I expecting for, the bigger earnings for Curaleaf, Trulieve, Green Thumb? Okay, guys, I'm expecting growth, okay? And it's not even that I'm expecting growth. I know we're going to see growth. So how do I know? All right. Like I don't have an inside track, no inside info. The beauty about these companies and the states that they operate in, a state like Florida, the state of Florida gives weekly updates and names who is selling what. Illinois does it monthly. Okay, so we can see that. We can see that growth. A number that really sticks out, and I'm sure Ben Kovler, the CEO of Green Thumb, is going to go over it, is that last month, the state of Illinois paid more in taxes for cannabis, not paid more, received more in taxes for cannabis than it did alcohol. Guys, the growth is ridiculous, okay? New York just passed. Okay, that's a $5 billion market. Arizona is selling legal weed. From what I understand, foot traffic is off the charts. There's cannabis companies that are positioned there, positioned in New Jersey, positioned in New York. New York isn't going to sell weed for a while, okay? But that doesn't mean that companies aren't already planting flags or already had flags planted there. Okay, so again, we're just going to see growth. We're seeing, anywhere from 20 to 30% growth quarter over quarter. We're seeing more and more people come into the space. The fastest growing demographic of consumers in the space are olds, people over 55, lots of disposable income, and the acceptance is off the charts, so the numbers are going to be good, but I think the guidance is really where you're going to want to sink your teeth. And look, these things are going to go up and down. Pot stocks are volatile by nature, but if you look at it on and expand that time horizon, like I said before, then all of a sudden they don't look expensive. Okay, what happens when you flip the multiples that some of these companies are trading at based off of revenue, right? What happens if you give Cureleaf the multiple that Canopy has, or if you give Trulieve the multiple that Kronos has? Kronos, I believe, has the highest multiple out of anybody. It's like 40. It's ridiculous. TerrAscend did more in revenue last quarter than Kronos did the entire year. Okay, that doesn't mean like, okay, you have to completely abandon the Canadian companies, but trade them. I see people writing, oh, Tilray and Aphria are the biggest company by revenue now. They've merged to be the biggest company by revenue. That's kind of bullshit, right? Biggest company by debt, biggest company by losses. Okay, yeah, revenue. Come on. So we're going to see a lot. All right. So maybe I'll take a couple of questions related to earnings right now. So I'm gonna ask you guys a question. You can type 1 or 2. All right. Do you think type 1 if you think top tier MSOs numbers are going to be a blowout, or 2 if you think they're going to miss? I'm just trying to gauge the psychology of the market right now. Don't be nervous. Okay. All right. Yes. So 1 for blowout earnings, 2 for complete miss. on the US MSOs. All right. Okay. So yeah, we see consensus, right? You know, one of the other questions that I get often is, well, did we find a bottom? If you guys follow me on Twitter, on the 19th of April, I said, all right, I think this is the bottom. We've pretty much given back 2021. This is a good place to springboard off of. And you know, in the same breath, I also said, look, it could drop slightly more, but I think that there's more upside than downside from here. And so far, we're about, you know, 15, 20% higher. You know, so like, I think I did a pretty good job of calling that short-term bottom. But, you know, look, we have to be vigilant and have to kind of stay on our guard for this. So yeah. All right. All right, guys. So for pot stocks, you know, look, my outlook for the MSOs, I'm looking at this now. A lot of people think that I'm a day trader of these. I'm not. Okay, I'm an investor. Okay, be an investor. What I do is I manage my position. I hold a core and I trade a core, specific amount, and I just make my position that much more attractive, give myself that much, you know, insurance. That way I can be a long-term holder, but also that way I can be paid to be long. And this is something that, you know, I teach you in True Trading Group. Actually, I've done webinars on how to hold a core and trade a core. You know, so it's just an absolute ton of information in there once you do become a member. And I'm sure if you take the trial, you'll see what I'm talking about. All right. So with that said, we're going to move on to the next subject. All right. And this is a subject that's near and dear to my heart. Holy crap. Infrastructure. Sorry. Guys, you want to know what the beauty of the way I trade is? Guys, I haven't looked at my account this entire time that we've been speaking. What I have looked at is some of the things that I'm in that are infrastructure related. And yeah, and wow. The crazy thing is if I was not doing this, I would have probably taken a little bit more profit. But now I'm just kind of like, you know what? Bonus time. Wow. Infrastructure. Sorry. I'm going to need to take a sip of this water. All right, guys. So if you've been following and watching this channel, since I've been on streams with Mike, you know that there's a special place in my heart, besides cannabis, for infrastructure. So ironically, the first trade that I ever called out in True Trading Group that I got positioned in was an infrastructure play. And that company was US Steel. I got options and I bought stock. All right. The stock was $4.90. That was the alert. And I think it was a $5.50 call, maybe a $5 call. I don't remember. Followed by Boeing at $90, but that's neither here nor there. US Steel right now, $27.75. Okay. $27.75. So I'm not really a chartist. Again, I pride myself on being just like you. I don't want to be glued to a screen looking at charts. I want to be able to go for a swim if I want. I want to be able to go for a drive, go out to lunch, not have to babysit anything I'm in. This is really important if you've got a job, right? If you do something, if you've got things that responsibilities, like taking your kids to school, picking your kids up from school, taking them to dance class, taking them to soccer practice. My style is what I like to call the everyman or woman style, okay? It's not dependent on being glued to a screen. Nobody wants to be glued to a screen, right? You got to wear those glasses, the like blue blockers. If you're like this, I don't want to be this. Guys, I want to show you. Ready? I'm going to show you something in my office. Ready? That's my bean bag. All right, well, it's not a bean bag. It's a love sack. It's Tempur-Pedic. Guys, I like to take naps. I'll take a nap. I'll take a nap during the day if it's boring. Okay? I'll take a nap if it's boring. How can I do that? By thinking long term, by having ideas. And one of these ideas just happened to be infrastructure. All right? Was it the only idea? God, no. I was buying airlines and energy in September when everybody was saying that I was crazy. Why? Because it's not like either one of those things was going to go away. Now, did I have a strategy for that? Yes. Roll profit into these. But another one of those that I would roll profit into was infrastructure. And, you know, if you're a student of history like me, you know that after, you know, economic calamities, one of the first things that government does is create these big infrastructure projects to boost up the middle class, which is important. My wife also happens to be a civil engineer. So, you know, I went very hard out of tech in September and into the most unsexy things. And right now, the things that were so like the ugly ducklings are now the beautiful swans that everybody wants to buy. And I'm just selling into all of these suckers. All right. But infrastructure is one that I think can go further. Why? Well, infrastructure isn't so cut and dry as, hey, this is what's happening this year. Infrastructure is a long-term plan. All right. It's a 10-year plan. You know, you can't build the Hoover Dam in 6 months. You know, you can't get that workforce out there. You can't build a bridge in 6 months. You can't do a lot of things in 6 months. That's why these infrastructure plans and, you know, $4 trillion or $2 trillion, whatever it is going to be stretched out over time. So where did I put my money? 2 places. Cement. Guys, literally the most boring thing in the world. And steel. All right? Again, another really boring thing. Did anybody ever think like, hey, I'm going to make $1 million trading steel or cement? Of course not. Of course not. That's not sexy. Do I care about sexy? Absolutely not. Do I look like I need to be sexy? Guys, this is about as average bod as it gets. You know, I'm just fortunate enough that that happens to be my wife's thing. So why do I like infrastructure? All those reasons, guys. One, wherever town you live in, your infrastructure probably sucks, all right? Drive over a bridge in Columbus, Ohio, or wherever. I don't even, is there a bridge in Columbus, Ohio? I just made that up. It probably sucks. Go over the Verrazano Bridge at that under part, and you're looking up and you're like, holy shit, this thing is like rusted. Okay? Guys, these are ideas. And this is something entirely different from, you know, like my style is night and day from Mike's style, right? Some people, they like to be glued to a screen. They like that rush. You know, they got Mike. Some people like my style. Some people like doing debit spreads. They got toner style. Some people like reassurance about what they're trading, what they're in. Or maybe they need to be, you know, said, hey, it's time to get out. And that's why they got Simmons for the Miami Colada Club, which goes from 7:30 to 9:15 in the morning. It's whole thing on charts. It's pretty good. Sometimes I wake up early and I'm like, hey Simmons, can you tell me what the chart's telling you? What are the tea leaves telling you? All right. There's something for everybody. All right. For me, for you, look, most people can't be traders. Most people have jobs. This is discretionary income. The stuff that I trade equals FU money. FU. You want to go to Disney, you want to buy yourself a lightsaber, Star Wars stuff, trade like me. Something for everybody. So I'm going to take some questions on infrastructure. Oh, by the way, our infrastructure trades absolutely destroying. If guys, please, for my TTG members, can you please just type a 1 if you've crushed it on my infrastructure plays? Type it. I want to see it. Watch this, guys. It's going to look like a waterfall of ones. Pew, 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 pew. Look at it. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's like an ATM machine. I mean, guys, I'm going to spare them the time. It's the same thing for pot stocks. Okay? So long-term ideas, pot stocks, all one. They have 45K on X trades this week. And the crazy thing is, probably not the member that's made the most on US Steel. Oh, yes, US Steel. Sorry, I said it. I said it. US Steel. Okay? X going to give it to you. Rest in peace, DMX. We love you. So, we have a lot of fun. Now, guys, there's only one way that you're going to be able to see any of this, experience any of this. And guys, it's not like, hey, US Steel is just going to keep going. Oh, I watched this live stream with Wolf. Let me just buy some US Steel. No, there's more to it. Okay. But here's the carrot. Okay. Here is the carrot. There's stuff that's going down next week. And the only way you are going to be able to see that, now this is just infrastructure, is if you're in there, okay, listening, like with like an AirPod in your head, like this when the boss walks by. All right. The only way you can do that, as well as understand how to play pot stock earnings next week, is by being a TTG3 member. Okay? Just for a week. Guys, this week, for $3, $3, you can pop in, pop out. Just come, just join us. All right? Let's hit them with the link. Yeah, guys, let me tell you something. The TTG3 members that are probably on here today, US Steel 2781, they can tell you because they're no longer TTG3 members, and they see it. Guys, it has been a ridiculous week. All right. You ever see that movie about Roger Maris hitting? It's called 61, and it's about like him and Mickey Mantle just hitting home runs like back and forth. Guys, that's what it's been for me and Mike the last 2 weeks, on top of the other trades. Like just throwing darts. And it's like bullseye, bullseye, bullseye. It's crazy. Smash that like button, share this. become a TTG3 member. Ask me questions throughout the course of the day. Ask me questions. Hold on, I just want to refresh. Guys, you see this? This is what every TTG3 member is doing right now. Because if they looked, if let's say they just had to go, they had a lunch meeting and then they come out and then they're like, well, let me take a look at my phone. Let me see what my options are doing on US Steel. And they're looking, they get on their phone, they're like, oh, what are you doing? No, I'm talking to my wife. They click on it. Yeah. They're crushing it. Crushing. So guys, like, share, tweet, send this to a friend, email it. I'm excited for this week. I know that the members are excited. This has been a crazy start to the month. And we are going to go over this at 4:15 with Mike. So after this, I'm going to go, probably going to take a little bit of profit, have some cheddar cheese for the weekend. Mike is going to follow this up, and he's going to be high energy. I can already tell you, because I know what he's trading. Absolutely crazy. You know how they say sell in May and go away? It's like come to TTG and you don't even have to listen to that whole phrase. So again, guys, it's TTG3. It's $3. You know, for this 4:15 live stream, hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. Guys, it's gonna be crazy. All right, and we're coming out of lunchtime. New high of the day on US Steel. Guys, US Steel was 21.50 last week. 21.50. Now it's approaching 28. Think about it. If you were a TTG3 member and you're like, oh, let me come in. You know, you come in on last Friday. You caught all of this. Okay? You caught all of this. Guys, be sure to hit the like button, smash that notification bell for the next TTG3 live stream, or the Wolf Nooner working name. Mike's going to be on at 4:15. The link is in the description for TTG3 to become a trial member. Try it out, test it out, tell your friends. And have a good rest of your day. Have a happy Friday, guys. I know that a bunch of members in TTG are going to have a great weekend. And I think next week could actually be even better if you believe it. All right? So thank you all. Thanks for coming out. Cool? Pew, 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 pew. I don't know how it works to shut it down.